everybody, it's Wayward Gypsy. Welcome back to my channel. I was not sure how I wanted to do this video, so I figured I would just sit down and show you guys all of the resin that I've been working on recently, just kind of show it to you, and then I am going to do a segment that isn't really a tutorial, but is more like a, I don't know, like a whip-in chat where I can talk and kind of show you guys what I'm working on. I have a project that I want to do that I've kind of decided on while I was working on my Cricut over the last couple days, so I figured I'd show everybody. Just so you know, I have 3 dogs and noise is a constant. If you hear crazy stuff in the background, that's why. So let's just get started. The first things that I did were actually jewelry pieces, and I used the UV resin, which I very quickly learned was very expensive, smelled very bad, and wasn't really great for a lot of things. So I did some of these really pretty pendants and cabochons. I was just kind of playing with the various embeds, or whatever they actually call them, you know, the things that you put in to the resin. I think some of them turned out really pretty. Like I really liked this one. I don't know why, just the balance of it was really pretty. I played some with these little fill-inable, are they called bezels? And some of them turned out okay. Like I really like this one. But once again, the UV resin is not the clearest. And so like for some of these, let me put these down. I can't. For some of these, it's just you can't really tell that the resin is not very clear on the camera, but it's not all that clear. This one I really liked. I'm surprised my mom hasn't stolen it because she really liked it too. And then just some other various crazy sparkly, because I love all things sparkle and AB and gold and silver and glitter and hollow. Like I did a set of earrings like this, which is just all hollow glitter. It's so hard to see hollow on camera, but very pretty stuff. I did some other little bitty things, but that was just my first start with the resin, and I got enough of a bug that I decided to go ahead and invest in the actual epoxy resin, the 2-part epoxy resin that just takes time to cure. The first pieces that I did, kind of like most people I think, were coasters. The first, whoop, I have a pile over here, and I have a pile over here, and I have a pile in front of me. This is going to be fun. The first set of coasters that I did, I just wanted to play with the colors and the glitter. Apparently my dog liked them because he chewed on this one. My favorite colors are blue and green, and so this one was for me, and you can see he chomped down on it. I was actually surprised. He's a lab, and he really didn't do that much damage to it. I could probably stick it back in the mold and re-pour just with clear and seal that up. I just haven't done it yet. I did a really pretty, ooh, you can really see the hollow from back here. See, this one's hollow and green. I love green, love green. I did this one, which is is it unicorn skin, not holographic, but iridescent glitter. You know, this is the sort of stuff that they put on ABs that changes colors. It shifts colors and shines. I was trying to work a little bit with alcohol inks. One thing I didn't realize is that alcohol inks would just turn into a big blob, and so it looks kind of like the Heart of Darkness on the back, my husband says, but that's okay, I like them. This one was probably my favorite one out of that entire batch. It's just that nice milky white, opaque dye, and then I put in a bunch of the iridescent glitter, and it just turned out so well. There's actually like 4 different shapes in there, and then clear. This is kind of a turquoisey color with different shapes of glitter and different sizes. And whoop, the next, I actually did make some more that time, but I gave them to my mom because if I make something purple, she tends to claim it. it's a mom's prerogative, so she gets what she wants. The next time I sat down, I really wanted to work with the actual mica powders because I had no idea how they would react. And so it was kind of a learning experience for me. And so I got, none of these turned out the way I expected them to. I'm going to put that out there. I don't dislike them. They actually turned out really nicely, but they weren't what I intended. But I learned a ton. And my husband has already laid claim to these. He says they look more manly. So this one is actually really nice. It's a gold reflect mica powder in a black background. So it's actually, this was how I expected it to look. This is how it looked on the back or on the front. This one turned out nice, but once again, it didn't do what I was expecting. It's pretty, but I was expecting that. Kind of funny. Once again, learned a lot, love it. This one turned out better than I expected. Still wasn't what I expected. Once again, this was the mica powders in kind of a clear black base. I like how this turned out. I think it's really pretty. Probably could never repeat it because I have no idea what I did. The back on this one is not as nice, but the front is just gorgeous. To me, it looks like tree bark or like coals after a fire. I did some other really pretty purple and teal. This one did the same sort of thing. This was what I wanted it to do. With this one, it almost looks like the sea, like a weird alien sea surging up onto purple sand. That was kind of what I was going for. I just learned that whenever you pour something that's mica heavy into a mold, where the mica hits first, it's going to stay there. Like, it doesn't matter what you do in that top layer, that mica is going to stay where you put it. Same with this one. I actually like this one, but it was not what I was intending. There's what I was kind of intending. It's kind of funny how the back turned out prettier, in my opinion, than the front, but also kind of typical for my life, which is kind of how it works. And whenever you're learning something, the best thing to do is make a ton of mistakes. And I made a ton of mistakes with the resin stuff, especially when I first started out. So the next time I sat down, I was just like, I'm just going to play. I got in a ton of molds. I made a lipstick holder. I don't wear lipstick. I like the colors. It's a little too short for pens. So like typical Sharpie, it kind of works. I would love to have something like this for diamond painting pens, but I think I would have to make it myself. I would have to model it and then mold it and then pour it. But I actually really like the way the colors turned out in this, and that was just the pouring technique that I was using. I'll put this over here. I got some dish molds in that same thing. This one, it's meant to be an ashtray or a small plate. I did the same sort of thing that I did with that other coaster where it's just kind of the clear. I learned that with a lot of these molds, you see the little micro bubbles in there? Yeah, with a lot of these molds, you have to let your resin sit until it's almost hard, or you will get these little molds along this outside edge. But I actually really like this for a soap dish because the mold has a flaw where you pour it and it sinks, kind of the bottom part of it sinks because it didn't have enough silicone there. I like it though because it makes it, you can see the kind of 3-lobe texture there. Yeah. And that means that like water can get away from like a bar of soap or something. So I'm going to use this one for a soap dish. And at the same time, I did this one. And I actually got far fewer bubbles because I realized that I needed to let it sit. It does still have a few, but it's not nearly as bad. But I love this just clear. This actually has some mica in it. I've discovered that some micas are more like glitter. And so it doesn't make it like a solid color, but it's glittery. It's super pretty. And I love the hollow glitter. And then I did this plate, which was actually colored with alcohol ink, just mixed into the resin. This was like a burgundy color alcohol ink, like a true magenta, dark burgundy, reddish, purple, pink. Yeah, no, whenever you try to color with the alcohol inks, it kind of fades it out, but I still like it. It's pretty. I like the glitter. Unfortunately, this is the thing that I learned. You do not want to demold too early. You can see how not flat it is. That's okay. Alrighty. This was a really pretty box. I really like this. It isn't a box, it's an ashtray, which kind of disappointed me, but that's okay too. I was playing with using stickers. I actually did a coaster that my mom stole that had these butterfly stickers in it as well. They're so pretty, and that led me to playing with this one. Now this one is clear. You can see it's all clear in the back. And I just kept layering different things in there that I had gotten in my starter kits. And this one's the one that's on my desk because I love this particular coaster. All the colors and the sparkle. Okay. And then I just was playing with random things. This is one of my favorite molds. I actually turned this one, as you can see, into a little cover minder. It's a little trash tray cover minder. I haven't taken it out of this room to use it, but I turned it into a cover minder. I got a bunch of cutesy little glitters and stuff for Valentine's Day, which I love. I like this mold. So this is actually really pretty. I have another one that you'll see, and it's even prettier because you can see it. I like it with the clear. It makes it look more like crystal, but it's intended to be like a votive holder. So you would take a little candle, but even the smaller candles are too small for it. I don't know what you would do to fix it, but you know, hey. I liked that one. Let's see, there's another little poured thing. One thing I also learned is that you have to file the bottom edges. A lot of these things are just waiting for me to file the edges to kind of finish them, and then they're going to become gifts for people. These I poured for my mom. There's some more of those sort of votive holders. These, however, will actually hold that candle. I did one for myself in turquoise sparkle, but this will actually hold that little candle, unlike the little heart. I liked this one. So this was my my remnant mold while I was working with a bunch of different stuff. And so like this part was partially set whenever I poured this clear part, and then this part was partially set by the time I poured this part. It's fun, and it's a nice way to come up with things, although I will say I don't think I mixed this last layer very well because you can still see it's tacky. I need to pour some well mixed resin in there so that it will harden and become solid. Alrighty, let's see. I got some of the bookmark molds, and I learned that they're too thick, in my opinion, for a bookmark. This would damage the spine of my books, and I don't like that. So this one is useless. I could just toss this. This one, once again, I could just toss this. This one, it's okay. It's got a cute little kitty paw. I don't know what I would do with it. I'll probably just give it to my mom and let her figure it out. But these two, I was thinking they would make really cute keychains. And since I have a Cricut, I could cut out like names and stuff and put them on there, and that would be really cute. Here's another keychain. Can you tell I like paws? I'm kind of obsessed with dogs and cats. I like all animals, but dogs and cats are mine. Okay, I did pour a bunch of hearts. These were a learning process. So you can buy really cute candy molds at Michael's or wherever, but they don't always come out shiny like you would expect a silicone mold to come out shiny. They have texture. As you can see, it's kind of like a matte It's not really like textured, but it's not shiny either. So I decided to make these into little cover minders. And so I put a magnet in the back and domed it. And then I domed the front with some glitter. And so you get this great kind of combination of textures. I really like these. And I played around with a coloring technique with mica to do these. And I think they look really pretty when she put the doming on it. There's a ton of these just because it was a big mold and I had a bunch of resin and I was playing. I'm not going to show you that because I'm working on something. Here is another one of my little trash. You can see I don't really care on these, what they look like. These are really great for just, once again, it's that candle holder. You can use it as candle holders, or like, I keep sugar-free candy around all the time, and most of the sugar-free hard candy is really, really small. So these work really well to like put next to my computer or sit next to my, next to whatever project I'm working on so that I don't eat too much, because sugar-free is a code word for laxative. Just FYI. Yeah, don't go there. This was a surprise mold that I got in. I got off of Etsy, I got a grab bag that came with a bunch of really cute molds. This was one of those. I'm in love with it. I did it kind of like a sandcastle. I kind of kept to that theme. It's got a lot of glitter in it, but you can't really see it through most of it unless you're like really close up by. But I love this, and I'm thinking I'm going to play with this some more. It's a little too big to be like a cover minder, but I don't know. It's cute. Oh, another thing I experimented with was keychain molds, overfilling them intentionally so that I could put other colors in the spots that were supposed to be holes. This one didn't turn out particularly well because it needs more contrast, but this was the one that I did at the same time. So this is going to be my keychain. I just need to drill a hole in it now and actually attach the little key ring thing. And I've been playing with boxes. I have this beautiful box. One thing I have learned about these box molds is that they tend to leave the tops solid. Like this thing, the top of this box weighs far more than this does. So it's kind of interesting to me, but it's a very pretty old-fashioned looking box. I also got Visa one, which I did in kind of, it's gold mica, but it's mostly clear. And then it has this beautiful one that goes on top. Because this is solid, it's the exact same resin, but because this is solid, it looks so much darker and a little bit more pink, but that's all right. The project that I'm working on, I was planning it. Oh, sorry, Wesley. I just dropped my silicone mat on my dog. Oops. Oh, here's another little cup. So sometimes you get a mold with a flaw, and this mold has a flaw. You can see it right here. It looks like there's a big bubble there. There's not. It's actually a raised spot on that mold. There was a bubble in the mold, and it leaves this sort of weird thing. It doesn't have any effect whenever you're using something opaque, but you definitely see it whenever it's in clear. But the mold is still perfectly usable, as you can see. I love this. I love this shape, and it looks really, really pretty. So the project that I'm working on, this is actually a box that's supposed to have a lid. I threw away the lid because there were big old holes in it, because I learned. And then here's another one of those really pretty little bitty cups. I need to put the magnet on here and pour in the bottom. And then this box was another one of the ones that came in that fantastic grab bag. To me, it looks kind of like 8-bit or like a pixelated heart. And I just love that. The 80s and 90s kid in me loves it. I love this box. And then the last thing I'm going to show you, because you don't need to see the failed phone case. Once again, people, don't demold too soon. If you demold too soon, your things will deform and they wind up curved when they're not supposed to be. But So this is that same faceted heart mold for the candles. This was a trash mold during this pour. I did this whenever I was doing that box, and there were a couple other little things. Oh, the keychains. And this was what was left of that green and blue and that clear, or not clear, the white, the solid white that I was using that day for this. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. It looks like the heart of Earth or something. Like it's mountains on this side, snow-capped mountains on this side, and like icy tundra, watery. I love how this one turned out. It's so, so pretty. And I think that for now, oh, one last thing. I was playing, so I poured this, which is a pop socket cover. I poured this, and then there is, I have a sheet of rub-ons. And after it was cured, I used the rub-on on there, and you can see that gold in there. And then I used alcohol ink markers to color it. There should have been blue in those open spots in the balloon, but apparently the blue does not stay. It reacts to the resin or something whenever you pour the resin over it. The purple and the red and the yellow stayed just fine, but the blue did not. But I went ahead and domed it. You can see that kind of shimmer in the clear. I went ahead and domed it, and I will use this as a cover minder for one of my summer diamond paintings coming up. So actually, I think that I'm going to do my project as a separate video because I'm looking at the time on this. But yeah, I have been going crazy with the resin. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I will see y'all later. Bye.